A very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today on the occasion of World Cancer Day. To all you brave survivors out there, more power to you. And to those of you still battling the big C, there is always hope. Hang in there. We're here today in conversation with Dr. Priya Tiwari. She's a well known medical oncologist and she's currently working as a senior consultant, Unit 2 in the Department of Medical Oncology at Artemis Hospital. Welcome, Dr. Priya. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Our pleasure, doctor. There are so many questions, with cancer that one really doesn't know sometimes where to begin and how to begin. So I've got a bunch of questions here. And viewers, those who are viewing, if you have a question, please just share it in the comments box. Okay, so Dr. We're a Moms Forum. We're the largest community in the NCR Gurgaon Moms. So I'll start with a question that what are the different types of cancer women are more likely to get? And by the way, viewers, Dr. Priya's core areas of interest are gynecological cancers and genitourinary cancers. I hope I pronounced that right, doctor.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So please, doctor, give us some information.
So, what is important is that, first of all, you should know that cancer can affect any part of the body. Okay, from the tip of the nose to your eyelashes to eyelids to liver, lung, kidneys, ovaries, breast, any part of the body, you can have a cancer. So cancer can affect any part of the body. There are more than 40 types of cancers. But yes, there are few cancers which are more common and there are few cancers which are more common in females.
Right.
The most common cancers occurring in females are cervical cancers and breast cancer. Till
Okay.
few years back, cervical cancer is number one cancer in the females.
Okay. I feel maybe the doctor had some technical issues. So please bear with us and we will just be back very shortly. Yeah, doctor, we lost you in between.
Am I here?
Yes, you're here now, doctor.
So where were you? Till what part was I
Cervical
there?
cancer was the biggest.
Okay, so at some point of time, cervical cancer was most common cancer, but now breast cancer has taken a lead in this country. And there are certain other cancers which particularly belonging to the female genital tract, like ovaries, uterus, all those cancers are exclusively limited to females. People don't know, but breast cancer can also occur in males. But yes, females have a much higher incidence.
Got it, doctor. So, doctor, one of our members says her mother has cancer. She says, can I get cancer from her too? And is there any other form of cancer that's hereditary?
Okay, that's a very good question. And this is a very common question. The families are quite concerned that somebody in my family has cancer. So, can I get cancer too? People are marrying. It's like I'm marrying in that particular family, and there is a history of cancer. So, should I marry that girl or not? So, there's a lot of stigma attached to it. So, the
Wow.
question comes, what percentage of cancers are genetic in nature? So overall, 5 to 10% of cancers run in family. That means there are certain genes which predispose for a person to have developed cancer. For females, there are certain breast cancer subtypes and ovarian cancer subtypes. That is what we see they run in the family, but it is not more than 5 to 10%. Now, what are the pointers which say that if my mother has, can I have a cancer too? So, see, anybody can have cancer, right? But
Right.
if you have many family members in a family, like you had an aunt, sister of the aunt, your mother, so people like that, or if somebody has more than one kind of cancer in a single person, you had breast and ovary both. So these are certain pointers which will tell me that yes, there could be a possibility of hereditary cancers. The good thing about these tests is that you can simply do a blood test. These people don't know. A simple blood test can actually will help you to find out whether the cancer runs in the family or not.
Right. Got it. Doctor, we have a question from one of our viewers. Lavdeep Chahal says, what is the reason of cancer in the first place, irrespective of the age or any part of the body?
So that's a very good question, and people, this is time and again it keeps coming up. So I tell you what, cancer can happen to anybody at any particular age, but this is predominantly a disease of old age. So with rising age, you have damaged cells, to put it simply, damaged DNA in the cells. So with rising age, you can get cataract in your eyes, you can get wrinkling, you can get heart attack, you can get stroke, and you can get cancers. At the time of independence, the life expectancy of India was very low. So we did not have cancers which were occurring beyond the age of 60 years. But now we have crossed that age. So cancer is predominantly a disease of defective DNA which occurs as a part of aging. There are certain risk factors which will, what will they will expedite this process. Like we talk about smoking, alcohol, they all damage your DNA. So aging is the single most important quote unquote risk factor. But yes, hormonal imbalances, smoking, tobacco, all these, they all affect your DNA. They can cause damage, and that is from where the cancer arises. uh, just to give you some more perspective in this aspect, whenever you have damaged DNA, there are certain pathways in our cells. What they do, they shut down the cells and the cell die. But even if those pathways get defective, then cells choose to grow in an uncontrolled manner. And cancer is what? A growth of the cells in uncontrolled manner, and it grows and grows and grows until a small lumps form into a big lumps. It will occupy all organs in the body, and they can cause organ failures, and that is why there is so much in fear, because those kind of organ failure can lead to death.
Great, doctor. I have a lot of questions coming in, doctor. So I'm going to just take those and then come back to my questions. Rekha Agarwal wants to know, doctor, any early sign to know about breast cancer?
Exactly. So, the good thing about breast cancer is breast is a very superficial organ. It is not like lung or liver, which are deep seated. So, what we recommend that anybody who is above the age of 21 years should at least do once a month breast self examination. There are, simple YouTube videos available from where you can learn the techniques. The most common manifestation of breast cancer is in the form of lump. Now, lump can occur because of many other reasons. They can occur because of infection, because of the simple hormonal imbalances. And those who would be palpating their breast regularly must be knowing that at the time of menstrual cycles, anyway, there is some lumpiness in the breast. But whenever you feel a lump, which is there in the breast and it continues to increase slowly, or it's of a recent onset, you should definitely go to a doctor and get yourself examined. 8 out of 10 breast lumps are not cancers. But yes, 2 could be cancer. So if you feel a lump, don't get panicky, get yourself examined. So breast lump is the most common and the earliest symptom of the breast cancer. Besides that, there could be nipple discharges, especially if it is blood tinged. Okay, so these are the common symptoms. You can get lymph nodes in the axilla, and sometimes there could be thickening of the skin. These people don't know. Sometimes the breast cancer can only present with thickening of the skin. Change in shape, size also, but they occur in the later stages. Most commonly is a small lump, which you will, if you regularly palpate your breast, you can easily find out.
Doctor, how often should one do a mammogram? And are there any other tests that women should do periodically? Like I've heard a lot of debate about instead of mammogram, get an ultrasound for your breasts.
So as I said that the breast cancer is predominantly a disease of old age, mammogram has the most robust data to show that it helps to prevent cancer associated death, because it helps to timely diagnose the breast in the early stages where you can treat it. So, but the problem with the mammogram is that it is much less sensitive to pick up breast cancer below 40 years. So there is no screening recommendation below 40 years other than breast self-examination or once in a while an examination by the clinician. Above 45 years in India, we recommend that if you are above 45 years, then at least once in 2 years, you should get a mammogram screening done. So there is no screening recommendation based on ultrasound. Whatever screening recommendation is only for mammogram. So mammogram, besides mammogram, we have a screening recommendation for cervical cancer. Above the age of 30 years, we recommend screening using pap smear, maybe once in 3 years. And depending upon that, what comes out in the pap smear, accordingly, further screenings are actually planned. There is something new which is now coming up regarding colon cancer. Now, colon or the intestinal cancer. Intestinal cancers was not one of the very common cancer, but now the incidence is increasing in both males and females. And now the Western guidelines are now being replicated in Indian guidelines that above the age group of 50 years, at least once in 10 years, colonoscopy should be done.
Okay. There's a lot of facts, doctor. I'm going to request you to email me these and we'll put it up later on.
Okay.
Dr. Rekha again wants to know, is mammograph more accurate or MRI?
MRI is much more accurate, but the problem with MRI is there are too many logistics involved with MRI. Not all centers have MRI. It is much more time taking. If anyone has ever done an MRI, it will.
Okay, give us a minute. I think doctor's connection has gone again. And Mansi and Sonia, I see your
You will know that
question.
it's.
Sorry, doctor, we lost you again in between, doctor. Okay, so Mansi and Sonia, I see your questions. I'll definitely ask them. Just stay with us and we'll definitely get to them. Sorry, doctor, we lost you after you said MRI is time
Much more sensitive. So what I was saying that MRI is much more sensitive, but it has a lot of logistics. You know, if you have fear of closed spaces, you can't get into MRI machine. It is a very long investigation. It takes 1 hour, 2 hours, and MRI facility is not available everywhere. It is not needed. Mammogram serves the purpose simply.
Plus, it's also cost factors also there.
Yeah, huge cost difference.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay. So, doctor, we were going to talk about lifestyle changes and general habits. So I think, Mansi, I think that covers your question. Mansi wants to know what should we do to avoid it. So if you can give me...
This is my favorite part.
Okay.
First of all, get this thought that anybody can get cancer. So even if you follow a healthy lifestyle, which I'll be enumerating, you can still get cancer because, you know, people who get cancer, the one of the common questions, they get a lot of guilt inside them. Okay. But yes, there are certain factors which will definitely help us to reduce the chances of getting cancer. First of all, quit smoking, quit the company of people who smoke, because now there is data to show that even passive smoking can kill you. It can give rise to lung cancer. So if your spouse, your friends are smoking, please ask them to quit. Okay, that's the single most important. Alcohol. Now, you know, alcohol has become part of our lifestyles, marriages, etc. So for females, it is recommended that they should not have more than one drink, because even a small amount of alcohol, you know, can cause especially breast cancer. Third thing is, now when I talk about lifestyle, it essentially includes two things. One is the exercise you do and the food that you eat. Now, red meat and processed meat, they are now have been shown. So red meat consumption in India is still less, but processed meat is something which is very common. At the time of processing of the meat, there is generation of...
Okay, doctor, we've lost you again. The voice is coming and going, so please bear with me. I will take all your questions and ask them one by one. This seems to be a very... Yeah, doctor, we were stuck with process.
Some internet problem. So I think I was on red meat and processed meat.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. So red meat and processed meat. Processed meat is something which generates some chemicals and it can cause cancer. Red meat intake in India, as I said, is low. So I'm not worried. But yes, you should cut down on red meat. Avoid processed meat. Then a diet which is rich in roughage and whole grain cereals, that is very much protective. The greener your plate is. So why there's so much of emphasis on the diet? The food that you eat, you know, it will impact the bacteria is there, which is there inside your gut. The good bacteria, no problem. The bad bacteria release toxins which are actually carcinogen and can cause cancer. So whatever you eat depends upon. So the food that I talk about is the McDonald's, that food, you know, that is bad for health and that could has a potential source. The most important thing that I like to talk about is the timing of the meal. These people don't know, and we have actually made a video on this. If you have early dinner, a dinner before 9 p.m., we tend to eat late, but a dinner which is before 9 p.m. and at least 2 hours before the sleep time has now been shown has multiple health benefits, and it also has some impact. It keeps the body metabolism healthy, and it can actually decrease your chance of having cancers, especially breast cancer. And yes, exercise is always there, at least 5 days in a week, half an hour of some kind of moderate intensity exercise like jogging, cycling, running is very good for health and has a cancer preventive role.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Amita wants to know, I hope we can hear the recording. Yes, Amita, this live will be on our Facebook page after this. So you can go back anytime and hear the recording. Doctor, one more question from Rekha. She wants to know, can a pap smear be done after 60 years of age? Yeah, Rekha ji, I think we've lost the doctor's connection again. So Shalu, I see your connection. Mansi, I hope we answered your question. Sonia and Shalu, I will ask these questions soon as the doctor comes back. I think there's some internet issue. It could probably be, I don't know if the weather
The
is
internet connection is going on and off. It's becoming quite erratic. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is the problem here this end.
It's okay, doctor. Is it raining over there? Maybe that's why.
That might be the reason, yes.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, doctor. So can a pap smear be done after 60 years of age?
Yes, why not?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Great. Dr. Sonia has a question. She's asking, what is the probability of uterine fibroids turning malignant after menopause?
So very low. The
Okay.
answer is very low. See, there are certain kinds of fibroid which have a very high risk of being converted into malignancies, but they are fortunately very, very, very rare. So uterine fibroid, anyway, after menopause, have a very, very low incidence and low chance of converting into malignancy.
Right. Dr. Shalu wants to know, what is the first symptom of any cancer?
So, cancer is not just one disease. Like I said, it can arise from any organ. So it depends upon from where it is arising. Now, this is a very common question because people all often say that there was no symptom and now it's advanced stage cancer. So what I usually say is cancer, when it starts to mimic the symptoms of any commonly occurring problem. Like, to give you an example, this is one of my favorites. When people were advertising about TB, tuberculosis, they used to say any cough which is more than 2 or 3 weeks, you should go to a doctor, and you should get yourself investigated for tuberculosis or TB. The same thing applies to cancer. If you have any new onset sign and symptom in the body, it could be cough, it could be breathing problem, it could be pain abdomen, and it does not go and persist beyond 2 to 3 weeks, and it tends to get worsened over a short period of time, it could be all a sign and symptom of cancer. So you should definitely get yourself investigated and checked. There are few alarming symptoms, like if there's blood in the cough, as they show in the movies, then of course people will get you then themselves checked. So those are the few. So like pain abdomen, 2 and 3 weeks, lasting, increasing, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, not responding to oral medicines, could be cancer.
So when in doubt, go to your doctor and get it checked,
Yes.
please.
Yes, at least some
Shalu, I hope that answers.
examination.
Yeah. Great. Doctor, are there any vaccinations against any type of cancer?
So yes, fortunately we have HPV vaccine available in India for cervical cancer, and it can be now being given to females as low as like 9 years of age.
Right.
And there is something called as hepatitis B vaccine. If you have not taken, I would recommend that you should also take that, because it protects you against an infection called as hepatitis B.
Okay.
And hepatitis B is one of the viruses which can cause liver cancer.
Okay. So anybody and everybody should take the hepatitis B.
I would recommend that.
Okay,
yes.
great. Dr. Amita wants to know, any test for teenage boys to detect early cancer cells? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Priya, I myself have heard this word cancer screening. And to be honest, I don't know if I know what I know is right. So if you can just tell us, what is the definition of cancer screening?
So by screening, we mean that you are trying to look for cancers when there are no symptoms.
Okay.
That is what the definition of screening. So you are trying to screen an asymptomatic population for the possibility of cancer. In
Right.
Western countries, they have a well-established screening program. They know at this particular age we will do breast cancer. At this particular age we will do cervical cancer. So as soon as you blow your birthday candles, somebody will come and pick you up and get yourself screened for commonly occurring cancers. The concept has now started to pick up because of the general awareness in India, but yet in government, the government has yet not started doing in a part of the programs. But like I said, above 45 years, 45 years, breast cancer is screening. Above
Okay, stay with us, please. There seems to be some internet issue, and
of
this is
age,
sorry,
yes,
doctor.
above 50 years. So breast
Not
cancer we
too long, yeah.
discussed
Yeah,
above 45, cervical cancers we discussed above 30 years, and colon cancer we discussed above 50 years. Colon or the intestinal cancer. So these three are the most common cancers. There is something called as oral cavity cancers that is limited to the people. Screening is limited by examination to people who smoke or those who chew tobacco. But besides this, not much for any other cancer.
got it, doctor. Got it. Doctor, so where and what cancer screening is available in India?
So cancer screening is now available in all tier 1 and tier 2 cities. And you
Okay,
can get it in, see, by breast, for breast cancer, you simply require a mammogram machine. A
right,
mammogram machine is easily available in a small setup also. Okay. And for pap smear is required for cervical cancer, which is like you can go to any gynecologist and you can request for a pap smear.
right,
So the facilities, and wherever you have an outpatient clinic where you have a gastroenterologist, a colonoscopy can be done. So the
right.
screening facilities are available everywhere in a big and small cities in India. It's now much more common, and that is also one of the reasons that why we are picking up cancers, and more and more cancers are being picked up.
Earlier on.
So the facilities have increased.
So, at what age, doctor, would you recommend one goes for screening?
So, like I said, for breast cancer, we usually recommend in Indian population beyond 45 years, for cervical cancers beyond 30 years, and for colon cancers after 50 years.
Got it, doctor. Dr. Vandita wants to know how accurate are MTEs for breast examination?
What is MTEs?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you would be able to answer
Oh,
that.
I don't. What is MTE?
Vandita, if you could just tell us what you mean by MTE, I'll
I
ask.
think M stands for monthly. T must be, God knows. E must be examination. I don't know.
Yeah, is it like self examination? Okay, so till she comes back, I'll go on to the next question, doctor. Doctor, is air pollution a cause of cancer?
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
So we have increasing incidences of lung cancer, and now there is data from England, Singapore, and China to show that maybe around 10% of lung cancer cases are because of the air pollution.
Okay. That's
So that is
really,
also one of the reasons that people when say ki I was not smoking, why did I say cancer? I said that air pollution and breathing is something that you can't avoid.
yes, absolutely can't avoid. Uh,
Yes.
so, doctor, we see a lot of people without risk factors as cancer patients. Sorry, okay, medical tactile examiners by the blind.
No,
That's
so
what.
I'm telling you, so these are all investigational modalities.
Okay,
So I don't think so that you should go very in deep into it. It is yet not been recommended or become the part of the standard modalities of screening.
right. So they are not very accurate, doctor. You would not recommend them.
So see, what I say is that when you go to a clinician, once in 3 years, you should actually go to a clinician after the age of 21 years to get your breast thoroughly checked by somebody who is trained in checking the breast and finding out a lump. That is very good to pick up, especially in young, the breast lump and order the subsequent examination. But the accuracy is not very high. But in the cities and the centers where you don't have much facilities available, they might be a good adjunct. Yes, a clinical examination by a trained medical professional.
Right, doctor. Mudit is asking about diet. Mudit, we already discussed this with the doctor. So you'll have to go back and watch our live. And doctor did give us some very interesting tips. So do check that out when you watch it. Doctor, tell me, what are the statistics for cancer survivors to conceive children?
So I was not so I wanted to understand this question. So when you talk about cancer survivor stats, so I'm talking about the female cancer patients who have received
Yes,
some kind of anti-cancer treatment.
yes, doctor, precisely.
So now this brings us to the question of what was the kind of cancer and what is the treatment that they have received.
Right.
Now, if you talk about chemotherapy here, okay, there's a lot of fear about chemotherapy and a lot of concern. Not every chemotherapy has same side effects, and not every chemotherapy affects your potential of childbearing.
Right.
Okay. But yes, there are certain chemotherapy drugs which actually affect the fertility rate, and that is why there is whole area of sperm preservation in males and ova preservation in females before actually starting chemotherapy.
Okay.
So we actually recommend, and this is actually practiced and done. So, but yes, younger the patient is given chemotherapy.
Okay. Doctor, again, we can't hear you, doctor. So we'll just come back again when the doctor's there. Rekha ji, I see your question. I'll just ask it. Give me a few minutes. Yeah,
Okay, so am I here? Where did I lose? Where was I?
you were saying about chemotherapy and its effects and preserving the eggs and sperm.
Yes. Okay. So, but suppose if there is a chemotherapy drug which cause infertility. Okay. So, younger the age of the person who has taken the chemotherapy, higher will be the chance that the person will be able to resume the normal menstrual cycle and then the normal ovulatory functions. So it depends upon the age of the patient. At age of 35 years, the chances of resuming fertility goes down by 50%. The impact of fertility is much higher compared to somebody who is very young. So it all depends upon the age. And yes, but there are techniques now by which you can actually have fertility preservation methods, and you can have a normal you can conceive normally and have kids.
Great, doctor. Thank you so much, doctor. Doctor, is it advisable? I'm going from one end of the spectrum to the other. Is it advisable when getting a hysterectomy to remove your ovaries after a certain age?
So hysterectomy is removal of uterus.
Yes, doctor. But while you're doing that one surgery.
So the thing is that I tell you what, people think that or we remove the ovaries, so our chances of having cancer goes down. It
Right.
also applies to people trying to remove their gallbladder so that the chances of having gallbladder cancer goes down. Now, if you look in general population, the incidence of cancer is still very, very, very low. It is low to an extent. Suppose
Okay, doctor. Uh,
100.
come again, doctor. You said, yeah.
Yes. If I am doing 100 surgeries, okay. Now, if you remove some particular organ, then the surgery itself has certain kind of complications. So, doing 100 surgeries to get rid of 2 or 3 cancers, so we have to see that kind of risk benefit.
Right.
Now, when you are doing hysterectomy for some reason, people think that we will remove the ovaries also, but the chance of getting ovarian cancer is very, very, very low. So, we don't recommend that.
Right. Got it, doctor. Got it. Doctor, what are the different treatments available in cancer care in India?
So we have all the best of the treatment available in this country. There is no doubt about that.
Okay.
So that simply brings us to the question that what are the anti-cancer treatments?
Okay.
So when you have a small lump of a cancer anywhere sitting in the body, and if it is possible to remove that lump by surgery, we do a surgical excision. Simply just cut and remove. If it is a larger lump where surgery is not possible, we do something called as radiation therapy to burn that lump or the tumor. And then in certain cases, we do chemotherapy. Now, why do we chemotherapy when we have actually removed by surgery or radiation? Because, the problem with cancers is.
Okay. I think even I lost my internet connection in between. So please do bear with us. Doctor will come back and we'll continue the discussion. Keep your questions coming. Yeah.
So cancer cells can travel to your liver. Okay. I think we were there.
Come again, doctor. We lost you at chemotherapy.
So what is the purpose of chemotherapy? The chemotherapy, because you have removed the tumor by surgery, isn't it? See, the cancer cells.
Yeah, doctor.
Am I audible?
Yes, doctor.
So the cancer cells, they release cancer cells, they go in your blood circulation. So your breast cancer can come back in the liver because it can travel in the blood circulation and go to liver. So we give chemotherapy because chemotherapy also goes in your blood circulation. and from there it will get rid of those cancer cells so that cancer does not come back. So to decrease the recurrences rate, we give chemotherapy. The good thing about cancer treatment now is that we have much safer chemotherapy drugs. We now have chemotherapy drugs which does not cause hair loss. That is how people relate
Yes, yes.
anti-cancer treatment with hair loss and all those things. And we have certain newer treatment which are not chemotherapy, something called as immunotherapy and targeted therapies. Immunotherapy has a very unique system of working. It actually stimulates your body immunity to work against cancer.
Great.
So this is something which is very new and very effective kind of treatment. So we have all treatments available in this
That's very
country.
reassuring to know, doctor. Really, it is. So, doctor,
Yes.
again, Rekha wants to know. She says she doesn't know whether it's appropriate for you to answer. But 4 years back, a doctor put a doubt of breast cancer and she doesn't know how much he diagnosed. Then she went for a test and they did an MRI. There was no sign, but the result was negative. So now, whenever she feels minor pain, she gets confused. I think she should come and consult with you, doctor. What do you say?
Maybe yes.
Rekha ji, I really think you should go visit Dr. Priya at Artemis, and we'll put her page details down in the comments after this live, and you can connect with her, because why do you want to go through that mental torture of being confused? What do you say,
Agree.
doctor?
I agree completely.
I'm just speaking for doctor when her connection is gone. So, Rekha ji, I hope that answers your question. I really hope you get well. Thank you, Rekha ji. Thank you. You must consult.
Whenever you
She says she'll come to you and consult, doctor.
whenever somebody puts a doubt of cancer in your mind, the doubt lingers on.
Yes. Yes,
So you
doctor.
have to find a way of getting rid of that doubt. The disease might
Absolutely.
not be there, but you have to get rid of the doubt as well.
Absolutely. So,
Yes.
Dr. Lovedeep wants to know, he says you've talked about a healthy diet, but how often do you recommend that one should go out and eat? Obviously, it's we should not eat out that much, but what would be your advice? Okay, so Lovedeep, just give us a second, yeah, till doctor comes back. I think the connection is really. Sorry, doctor, we can't hear you.
Advice to eat out.
Yeah, doctor.
No doctor will give you an advice to eat out. So the question of how often is actually not there, isn't it? So it's like somebody asked me, how often can I drink alcohol?
Right.
I said, it's a no from me. So this question answers for itself, I think.
Okay, Lovedeep, I hope you got your answer. That doesn't mean you
Yes.
order food home. So,
Yes, of course. Yes, that's right. Very much right. See, the whole idea and the concept is just follow a healthy lifestyle. Once in a while, maybe. Yes. So there's no medical literature will answer this question.
absolutely. Uh,
Yes.
right. So, Vikash, I'm just coming to your question. What he wants to know, please share some risk factors for breast cancer and lung cancer.
Okay, so lung cancer, the most common risk factor everybody knows is smoking in any form or tobacco in any form, whether it is tobacco chewing, canny, hookah, whatever form available. And now we know that even passive smoking can cause lung cancer and air pollution can cause lung cancer. Besides that, there is something called as asbestos. So if you live, which is very rare in India actually, if somebody is living close to a factory which makes something out of asbestos, that can also cause lung cancer. The other thing about breast cancer is that I enumerated what, like the alcohol, increasing age, female sex. Even males can get breast cancer, but yes, female sex can. It is females get it more commonly. Obesity is a risk factor for many cancers and also for breast cancer. So it's very important to maintain a lean body weight. The other thing is an oral contraceptive usage after the age of 35 years. And as I said, in 5 to 10% of patients, breast cancer could be hereditary. So if you have multiple family members who have breast cancer in your family, then you should always get yourself tested for the genetic risk factors. Alcohol intake is another risk factor for breast cancer.
Right. So, doctor, is that the genetic testing that you were talking about for cancer? How often and when and where should one do that, doctor?
So this is not for everybody. This
Okay.
is for people who have, like, if they feel that they have more than 2 or 3 family members in the family who have had cancers, or one person with many types of cancer. This is also this also happens, that you don't get cancer, but sometimes you get many cancers in one person. So you
Right.
should go to a doctor. Doctor will take history. He'll find out at what particular age patient develops. If you have a family cancer, they tend to develop at age, very young age.
Right. Right.
At very young age, because the defective genes, they start showing their defects at very young age. So he'll find out all that, what are the factors, whether you actually qualify for a genetic test, and then a simple blood test can be done to find out whether you are carrying that kind of gene or not.
Doctor, are all cancers curable, Dr. Priya? Okay. Again, every time I ask a question like this, the internet goes. I don't know whether it's my questions or the weather that's playing a role. But I'm sure, yeah, doctor,
Okay, so where were I?
I just asked, are
Yes.
all cancers curable, doctor?
Yes. So what I was going to say, yes, all cancers are curable, but there is a rider here. All cancers are curable, but if they are detected in time or in the early stage. In advanced stages, stage 4, very few cancers are curable. And that is why this talk about awareness, finding cancer early and tackling it in time.
Great. Are there any risk factors, doctor, that people are not aware of besides what we've discussed?
So, like, people don't know that even certain infections can cause cancers. First of all,
Okay.
like I said, hepatitis B can cause liver cancer, and that is why I talked about hepatitis B vaccination.
Right.
HPV, cervical cancer vaccination, people know. So there are certain virus and certain bacteria. There is certain bacteria called as, why we ask people not to eat out. When the food is not hygienic, you get a kind of bacterial infection which goes by the name of H. pylori. Now, H. pylori can be there in your stomach. It can persist in your stomach for months and years. And this is one bacteria which can cause stomach cancer. So, and people don't know obesity can cause cancer. Obesity can actually has now been linked to 8 or 10 kinds of cancer: breast cancer, intestine cancer, pancreas cancer, kidney cancers. All these cancers can occur in people.
Okay, please bear with us.
Obese.
Yeah.
Impact your DNA.
Right.
So, yes, obesity is also one of the risk factors which can cause. There's one more risk factor now coming up. The billing paper that you take, at the petrol pump counters or any food counters, in that billing paper, the machine, the paper that they take out after that machine.
Food paper.
Yes, yes. So that ink are there.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
What is
maybe
one
not you, because
user?
we just handle it once in a while, but the people who are using that machine regularly, that ink, that
Wow.
paper,
Okay. That is interesting, doctor. Doctor, is there any particular insurance that covers cancer?
So all good insurance companies and the usual insurance that you take, that will cover for cancer.
Okay.
So you
Great.
don't, you need not take any separate insurance cover for cancer. The companies might be telling take a 5 lakh cover for cancer additional, but you need not take it. All standard insurance companies, the usual cover that you take covers for cancer.
Great. Great, doctor. Doctor, I have a question from Jagriti Jagat. Jagriti says, I am 45 years old and got pap smears and mammograms 3 years back. Should I be going for it now? And should I also get the cervical cancer vaccination?
Okay, so the thing is, we usually recommend pap smear once in 3 years for 3 consecutive times.
Right.
So if you just had it once, you should always get it done again. Yes.
Okay.
And then after 3 years, it should be done immediately or something else. After that, it will depend upon what comes out in that pap smear right now. But
Okay.
yes, I would say yes. Now, the question of cervical cancer vaccination. So, yeah, cervical cancer vaccination is for hepatitis, for HPV. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what we usually do.
Okay. We'll just come back
That,
and talk. Sorry, doctor, you
yes,
were saying the hepatitis vaccination and it got cut off.
HPV vaccination, sorry. So
Okay.
HPV vaccination, the Western guidelines say that between 9 to 26 years you should take that vaccine, because they believe that after 26 years of age, people anyway get exposed to HPV because of the sexual contact. But there are guidelines to say now that if you are HPV negative and you are 45 years, you can take the vaccine.
Okay. Doctor, my colleague wants to know, is it true that if a close relative has got cancer when they were 60 plus, it is not genetic.
No, you can't say that.
You can't? Okay.
That is not a, you might have, you might not have. We will have to find who else had cancer in the family, what was the subtype, and all those things, like I just said.
Great, great, doctor. So Vikash is thanking you for all your advice, doctor, as is Lavdeep. And Rekha ji, we will send the contacts to you. We'll put it in the comments right now. Don't worry. Otherwise, you know us, you can message one of us and we will definitely give you the contacts. And doctor, I can't thank you enough for sparing your time. I know it's a busy day being World Cancer Day, but you've answered so many questions, doctor. We've lost count of the number of questions now, and so patiently and so in depth, doctor. So thank you so very much for that. And everybody, I know this was a serious topic, but I'll announce a great event coming up on Sunday, which is an Antakshari that we are playing online. So don't think about cancer then and join us. You'll find the details on the Gurgaon Moms Facebook page. And that's going to, you should also come, doctor, and at least watch the program. You need the time off, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Definitely, doctor. We would be so delighted to have you join us. And please feel free to connect with Dr. Priya Tiwari. As you can see, she's, I think, a very patient and very sweet doctor who's been here to answer all our questions. And do stay tuned that on our page for all details. Sorry, just give me a second.
There are a lot of misconceptions. As soon as somebody is diagnosed with cancer, people think that it's a death sentence and we will die, so that kind of misconception should not be there. That is the whole idea. At one step at a time, and we can go a long way.
Right. Great.
There's just so much of stigma also attached to it.
Great, doctor. Vipin is also saying great. Thank you so much for watching, Vipin. And thank you, everybody. Have a very good evening. Thank you once again, doctor.
Take care. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Yes.